You're listening to Heroes in the Moment.
What's up, heroes? I'm Michael.
And I'm Nathan.
Today, we're breaking down The Mandalorian Season 3, Chapter 19, The Convert.
AKA the reverse of that Boba Fett couple episodes where Mando saves Boba Fett, but this time it's a good show, and then it's kind of reverting back to something we don't know what's going on. Kind of like Andor.
That's very true. Like, this episode definitely was like an episode of Andor. I mean, you had the 10-15 minutes that was just pure Mando and Bo-Katan.
It was less than that, wasn't it?
It was probably, I mean, honestly, so probably like 10 minutes or so of Bo-Katan and Mando, and it was amazing. Like, it was really cool.
Dude,
and we'll talk about that in a minute. Oh yeah. Goodness. And then we go into like 45 minutes to 50 minutes of episode. It was probably like 45 minutes of episode to where they're on Coruscant the whole time, and it played like Andor.
Yeah.
And then the last like 5 minutes was back to Mando and Bo-Katan. So it definitely was different. It was definitely
weird.
It was weird. It definitely, like you said, similar to what Book of Boba Fett did with Mando and things like that. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely interesting and weird and things like that. But I mean, it definitely gave us more insight into what the New Republic's doing and things like that, which I enjoyed. But we'll talk about it. So, shot by shot breakdown. Let's get into it. Not a whole lot to talk about this episode because I don't really want to spend a whole lot of time on that Coruscant scene. Anyway, so
same.
Here we start off the series with them getting out of the pits, the water, and Bo asking Mando if he saw anything down there, if anything like that. And he said he did not, and he did not. So
she's like, why?
Yeah, I know. But she's keeping that information to herself about the mythosaur. Why do you think that she's kind of hiding that from him?
Because she doesn't want him to know that she's beginning to believe. Yeah. You know, she doesn't. I guess if she admits it to somebody else, that will like spark some more hope in her of you know, the way or something like that.
Right.
But I mean, it's just not necessary to tell him. But I think like she's kind of fighting against who she's becoming, you know, this person. But it's gonna happen anyway.
Right. I agree. I mean, maybe she's wanting to use it as perhaps to conquer the mythosaur and to use it as like her ride now. I don't know. Could happen.
Just rides on the mythosaur. That would be crazy.
It'd be kind of cool. But we'll see what happens with that. All right, and then if it starts off strong even further. Mando and Bo are then going out in space, and they're being pursued by a bunch of TIE fighters.
They're interceptors, right?
Because they're TIE interceptors. TIE interceptors. That's what they are. And my question is, who sent these TIE interceptors?
My question is the same. Where did they come from?
Yeah, they were just a bunch.
Like they were just there. Zooming, they were just there. I don't know where they come from.
My main theory is I think it might have been Moff Gideon, who made a resurgence and he still has like some control somehow.
Yeah.
That's my only kind of idea towards why. But it was a really cool scene nonetheless, man. I mean, them flying out of there, you know. But first, Mando's like, you know, this is the way. Bo goes, this is the way. Grogu tries to say this is the way, but can't get it across. But I really liked how Bo did go with, you know, this is the way, because it, you know, it kind of seems she did say it. And it's like, is it starting to rekindle her faith, and stuff like that. So that was really cool. But anyway, they get, you know, these TIE interceptors come after him, and then they have the super dope action scene.
The coolest like fight scene ever.
Dude, it was so cool. They're like, going after him.
Mando season 3 has done a great job with their, you know, like. Is it a ship? Is that what they call it? Or is that
I would call it
a boat is for water.
Yeah, I would call it a ship.
I would call it a ship. Their ship fights, dude, are fire.
They are really, really cool.
CGI looks great. Just see him fly around, blast people, dude, is cool.
It's pretty awesome. And then we have this awesome action sequence of Mando jumping out of Bo-Katan's ship and trying to get into his own ship. That was really cool.
That was fire.
That was so cool. He's using his jetpack to get down.
I thought he was gonna land straight in it. I would not have been surprised.
That would have not been believable. But
they just dropped straight in.
Right. But that was hype. He gets in it and he just destroys a bunch. But then they realize there's a bunch more coming, more than they can handle. So they have to jet out of there and go to a place of unknown. And then that's where I thought the episode would continue.
Well, they destroyed her home first.
They did destroy her home. I forgot to mention that. They did destroy her palace.
They bombed that place, and then she got really mad. She's like, revenge. And he's like, bro, there's like 50 of them coming down. It's like, this is not a good move.
That's true.
I feel, well, I mean, it had to have just been, shout out the droids who probably died.
That's true. Shout out them.
Shout out. Rip.
All right. Then we got, then we skip over to our Andor episode and it begins. And
it was mid.
I agree. It was mid. It was not like that enjoyable to watch. It was slow. It was boring. It wasn't compelling, but it was interesting to see.
It was just kind of building that, that world.
I mean, this is the first time we've got Coruscant since the fall of the Empire.
Yeah.
And to see how the new Republic is being built and it's upcoming and the still controversies and using Empire technology, that kind of thing. I mean, it's interesting in that sense.
Yeah. I will say it did not help that I watched this is like 1 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah, that sucks.
But it just with this whole middle part, man, I just had a hard time paying attention.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't care about it.
I know,
honest,
and when you have this character who nobody asked for to come back,
yeah,
nobody cared
no one
for them
wanted.
to come back.
I didn't even almost remember. He looks like Charlie Cox.
I know. I mean, he was in both season 1 and season 2 of Mando. But he was a very small role, and then they're bringing him back and giving a whole episode to him with another girl who was on the ship with Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
It was not interesting at all. These characters I don't like that much.
I don't watch the show for them.
No, I watch it for Mando, and Grogu, and Bo, and all these other characters that are really cool. Instead of Dr. Pershing,
Dr. Pershing
and his yellow cakes he likes or whatever.
I don't know, dude. The man is weird.
Yeah, I know.
The man is weird.
He is, and he's still kind of obsessed with Imperial technology, which I understand that. And he, his whole deal is he wants to still develop cloning technology because he thinks it could help the New High Republic. And I don't think he has any. He had any bad intentions.
I don't think so. I just think he's kind of a nerd.
Yeah, I do. He's just obsessed with his work.
Yeah,
and he wanted to do that. And I think this actually could be a possible reasoning in explaining how Snoke could be a clone, and also explaining how Palpatine returned. So I feel like they could use this to their advantage 100%. In explaining those ideas.
They're taking so much stuff to explain why Palpatine came back, and he should not have not have in the first place.
Right.
But I mean, they're slowly building upon it.
Right.
Like I said, it just wasn't that interesting.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think it could have been better for sure. But it was definitely interesting to see the New Republic though, and how that works, and that's really all I have to take away from that section. And also that Dr. Pershing did get betrayed at the end and thrown in what they call the Mind Flayer, Stranger Things, but the Mind Flayer, and to kind of wipe his memory of the Imperial thoughts. So what do you think about that? What do you think was going on there? What do you think her intentions were? Let me ask you that.
She looks straight evil, dude. Like he's sitting there.
She's still working Moff Gideon.
And then the Admiral Akbar guy is like, it won't hurt. I've done it before. And he's chilling. He's having good dreams. Then you see him turn the dial up.
She's definitely still working for Moff Gideon.
What are they doing with the homie?
Yeah, they're erasing his Imperial memories and those kind of memories to replace them with new, better ones towards the New Republic and things like that. But I really think she is just trying to get rid of a barrier, and that she's still working for Gideon. I really do think that probably.
See, to be honest, I didn't even recognize her. I'm like, who is this girl, dude? Yeah. I did not know. I can
understand. All right, then we go back to the better part of the episode.
Facts.
We go back to see Mando and Bo, where they're talking where we need to go, and then they end up going to the place where the watch is, and where they're lying. And they land there, and initially they're like, "You leave us." The whole Paz Vizsla guy's like, "You ain't Mandalorian anymore."
That's
he's like, "Yes,
right.
I am.
You don't belong in these parts, boy."
The space western vibes coming in.
I always wondered, how was he going to get proof that he had been in the water? Like we said before,
I know.
They got pictures,
selfie with a margarita.
With them at the sword showing in the background. That'd be terrifying if you notice that later. But yeah, they just kind of roll up and just have this big argument. Yep. Oh, Poca, you're not welcome here. Oh, you haven't bathed. Yeah, I have bathed. No, you haven't. Right. All right, let's see the water.
Yep. And then they go into the armor, and the armor tests the water, and she's like, "You were right. You have been redeemed." And then she's talking to Bo-Katan as well, and she's like, were you in the living waters?" And she's like, "Yes." And she's like, "Have you taken your helmet off since?" She's like, "No." And she's like, "Well, then you also by creed have been redeemed." Yeah. So that was interesting.
I'm like, okay.
I was interested to see they've both been redeemed, and they're both.
She was so surprised,
right?
And then everyone comes, just starts patting her, and you get this feel like, oh crap, she about to join this group.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, she's starting to rekindle a lot of faith. Mando is revitalizing that in her. Din Djarin is showing that, and she's starting to realize, okay, maybe this is the way.
She saw the mythosaur, her home exploded, right? And now this is kind of what she has.
This is all she's got, and she can rely on it, and that's actually really cool character development as that they've done. And I can't wait to see it further if she keeps the helmet on or if she does end up taking it off.
Dude.
So I don't know.
If I was her, I would take it off in secret.
Oh
when
for
I sleep.
I would do that. I'm sure there's several of them that do that. 100%.
They ain't got cameras in there.
I know. Mando's the only hardcore one, and he just did Grogu see his face.
I could not do that. I can't keep. Wear the helmet all the time. Your head ain't meant for that.
Super sweaty.
It'd
be horrible.
You can't even wash your hair, right?
No.
That's disgusting.
No, you can take it off when you're in your own private, I think, sense, and you're you can eat and bathe.
Oh, really?
And things that. I think so, but not when you're around any other people.
It was like COVID when you had to wear a mask.
That's very true. That's what they believe in. They're the COVIDites. Anyway, but she's part of this now, and that's how the episode ends. So overall, the Mandalorian side of the episode was really good, and the Andor side and the Dr. Pershing story was not. It was not that interesting.
You can sum it up in like a sentence.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have a potential maybe teasing of Moff Gideon, and you see Bo-Katan become closer to the way.
Right. That's pretty
all.
much it.
That's
Yep.
it.
That's pretty much it. I agree. But overall, I mean, the episode itself, like, it was decent. Like, it wasn't. I mean, I think it's definitely the worst so far.
The
but only
worst in the
because
whole
of the middle.
show. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know about that. I don't know. I have to relook. But
I can't even
I don't
remember
know.
the first two.
But
seasons.
anyway, I'm hoping for better, and I think from now on it will be really
Yeah.
cool. From now, I just hope they don't keep doing this kind
Nah,
of.
they
episode
won't.
thing.
I promise.
I really
They
hope not.
won't. All right, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know by giving us a review and a download. Our podcast, Here's in the Moment, is available on all major podcast platforms, so check it out. Our last episode was our weekly recap number 30, so go ahead and check that out. We have a lot of fire content coming your way. Like Tuesday, we're dropping our Shazam, and then Thursday, we're dropping our News 31. So stay on the lookout for that. Speaking of being on the lookout, check out the socials. Check out the Instagram at Here's in the Moment and our TikTok, Here's in the Moment with an extra T.
And we just want to thank y'all for listening. And as always, we love you 3000.